Well, hello everybody. I got on my poncho that I got from Ecuador. It's helped keeping me warm. I'm in Kentucky now. My first time sitting in Kentucky. Um, this is it. Um, I want to talk about something that happened to me recently. I was at a house sit, and first of all, I'll just tell you guys, I do I heal animals. Okay, I do hands-on healing. Um, I treated my cats who had kidney disease, kidney failure. Um, it's hands-on healing, and people can get confused when you hear the word healing because you think automatically that you're going to be cured of a disease or something. But no, from a spiritual perspective, it's spiritual healing. You may not be cured from the disease, but you may be comforted. Like it may not be as painful, um, or it may change in some other way, or you may be comforted. Okay. And then, of course, healing can also include the resolution of the disease or the disorder. So, my two cats were up in age and they had kidney disease. And what I did is I would give them hands on healing. And one in particular, I would do that and it would give them a lot of peace and comfort. And actually, he let me know when he was ready to make his transition, when he was ready to pass on into the spirit realm. Because one day when I went to give him hands on healing, he did not want me to give it to him anymore. And I knew then that he was ready to make his transition. So, a sidebar to this is animals know when they are about to pass away. Okay, they know. Um, and actually, when he did that, that prepared me for his coming transition. And of course, I respected his wishes and I did not give him any more hands on healing. Okay, that's the sidebar. Um, but what was I going to say? Oh, yes, now I know what I came on to talk about. At a previous house sit, a woman had two dogs and several cats. And one of the dogs had a neural disorder, okay? Some kind of disorder. And then the other dog had something wrong with his eyes. He had the secretions. So I do not tell people when I go to them I do animal healing or hands-on healing. When they reveal to me that there's something going on with their pet, I may choose to offer to provide hands-on healing. I don't charge for this. This is a gift from God. Um, Jesus didn't charge anybody to heal. I'm damn sure not going to charge anybody to heal or especially heal an animal. It's a gift, and I feel blessed to be able to give an animal comfort. Okay. So when she told me that, I felt for the animal. And I told her that I would offer to give him hands on healing, if it was okay with her. And of course, if it was okay with him. Because what I do is I will ask an animal if it's okay if I give them healing. I respect the boundaries of animals and people, okay? And so that just like my cat let me know when he wanted me to stop giving him healing, an animal will let you know if it's okay to give them healing, okay? So I told her I would do this, and I also gave him gave her three healing treatments, and I gave the other dog one healing treatment because it just didn't dawn on me till it was almost time for me to leave, and I was like, okay, well let me give the because he's having this So, but then the woman did a review on me, and it wasn't what I expected because it just wasn't what I expected. It wasn't it wasn't a harsh review, but it wasn't well, anyway, she had a housekeeper and the housekeeper didn't clean. Okay, and so she put that on me. And what was the other thing? She had a big house and her house would not get warm. And so I turned the heat up to get warm. Uh And she said, well, her plants started dying. Well, I'm not a plant person. And when I talked to her on the phone and told her that her house was cold and asked her how does her heat work and told her I was going to turn it up, that would have been a great time for her to say, oh, yeah, and the plants. Since you're turning the heat up, it'd be a good idea to probably water them. Because I don't know nothing about plants. I don't pay attention to plants unless I'm specifically told to give them water and then how often to give it to them. So I'm just trying to get warm. Okay, I'm trying to keep my hands and stuff warm. I'm trying to keep my body warm. So I'm not looking around at plants, thinking, oh, are they drying out? It wasn't that damn hot. Okay. It's winter time. And I'm trying to get warm after. So anyway, let me stop. So anyway, she complained about that. And I was just surprised because I'm like, if she had told me, to water the plants, I would have gladly watered them, but she didn't say anything like that. And even though I told her I was turning up the heat because the dang house was cold. But then on top of that, she didn't mention anything about me giving her pets hands-on healing. And you know what? I would not have, you know what? It would have been fine to me if she hadn't mentioned it. But since she complained about this other stuff, I was like, well, I'll be doggone. Isn't that something? No wonder people are reluctant to just offer to help or help somebody, just do something, not unasked because it's like not appreciated. It's just not appreciated. People don't think about, they just don't weigh that in when they're looking at other things. And that's what I felt. I was like, wow, I would have thought, I wasn't expecting her to mention that I gave her animals healing because I just don't expect people to mention that. But when she pointed out some stuff that I wasn't even expecting, that I hadn't even thought about, that should have been taken care of by someone else, or that she should have told me, then I was like, well, and let me tell you this, I'm happy that I was able to comfort those animals. You see, I separate the animals from their owners. Okay, so I always treat the animals with love, and I will give them healing. I don't care what kind of owner the animal has. The animal is a gift of God, and I love animals. And if an animal is sick, unwell, I will give it healing. Okay, so it wasn't necessary for her, but for her to just totally, it's like she just disregarded it. I just like, wow. I just felt like unappreciated. What I'd done was just totally, because you say something, only the negative and never mention any of the positive, it doesn't leave a good impression on that person or for what that person did for you. So now I'm saying, and I'm telling you all this because I'm saying, I'm looking into the human psyche now, and I'm thinking like, okay, so maybe that is one of the reasons why people are reluctant to go the extra mile, to offer a helping hand, to do something that is unasked for that may be helped because they may have done it before in the past and the person was like, it just didn't, the person totally disclaimed it, and just pointed out, what they considered to be the flaws or fault of the other person. So then, of course, it leaves that bad feeling or taste in the other person's mouth. Be like, well, damn, why should I even offer to help anybody when it won't even be appreciated or, they won't even mention it or, when they're criticizing, you know? So maybe that's what's going on a lot. Why people do not help others as frequently or as often or in the ways that are possible, because people really, they made for that moment when it's done to say, oh, thank you. But later on, they may totally forget about it. And it's as if nothing happened, as if you did nothing, but they only see the flaws or the faults. And that's so I can understand why a person would be reluctant to, you know, step out or do go the extra mile. So with that said, even though I had that experience, and now I do have, I think a better understanding of why people are tend to keep more to themselves and do their own things and don't really reach out and help and all that stuff, is because they might be like, well, shit, it ain't gonna be appreciated anyway. And the minute they get upset about something, they gonna forget about it altogether. So I can understand. So with that said, however, as for me, like I said, because the animal is not the owner, and I will continue to offer healing, you know, if I see that the pet would benefit from it, if I think that the pet would benefit from it. Because I don't have an issue with the pet. You know what I'm saying? I love the pet, and that's God's animal, and I've committed to caring for the animal. All right? But I'm just bringing this to you all's attention, and because I don't want to stop offering services. You know, I don't charge for what I do. I don't want to stop offering service, but it makes a person reluctant to want to offer help and assistance when they see that it is disregarded. You understand what I'm saying? And especially after they've done a kind service, that only what they may have overlooked or not understood or was not aware of is pointed out publicly or even just to them, then a person be like, oh, okay, well, so let's be careful about that, okay, you guys? Let's be considerate and always give a person a benefit of the doubt, and you know that it ain't nothing. Well, I can't say that, but at least for me, I know personally when I don't, I'm not trying to mess up nothing. You know what I'm saying? I like to provide a good service. I like to provide a loving environment. I'm a kind and caring person. I like to be helpful. I like to offer a helping hand because that's just who I am. And I enjoy doing that. So I just have to be careful because there are some people out there who, when they don't get exactly what they want or something is different than what they expect, they will totally throw out any good that has been done or any positivity and only focus on the negativity. And that's just not a way to go about dealing with people at all. And I will say this also too, for another sit that I did, you know, I drive. So I would drive from one state to another. Sometimes it's a different time zone and I could forget. So I got a lot on my mind. I'm moving around. I forget. So maybe they're an hour ahead or they're an hour behind. And so I arrived an hour late because my mindset was in one time zone and they were in another. And when we were talking, we were not talking time zones. We were just talking times. So I apologized 3 times actually. And I was like, okay, stop apologizing because it's not cool. Apologize once and that's it. And but the person remained hard, remained inconsiderate, insensitive. And so I was like, okay, so then I realized what had happened. That neither he nor I had mentioned time zones when we were talking about time. So instead of me being 2 hours late, I was 1 hour late. And I was 1 hour late because I had to drive think basically 3.5 to 4 hours to get here, and stuff happens between one point and another. Okay? And that you have to take into consideration too. But this person instead, matter of fact, I knew I was, when I realized, oh shit, this is a different time zone, and I let them know, I was like, I really want to get there because I don't know what time I got to leave, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't even use the bathroom. I just drove, because I was like, okay, let me just go. I want to get there. So when I got there and I just let them know because I felt bad, especially when I realized that this was a time zone difference too. So, I was like, yeah, I mean, I really did my best to get here as fast as I could. I didn't even stop, to use the bathroom. You know what they told me? Oh, so I guess your eyes must have filled up and turned yellow. How insensitive, disrespectful, and cruel of a response could you give? Totally inconsiderate and insensitive to my feelings, to my experience. And I'm trying to let them know that, yes, I tried to get here. Okay? And this is the sacrifice that I made, but they didn't care. So, what do you do? Well, I just let them know I just repeated back to them what they said because it wasn't funny and it was insensitive. And then they have a choice to either become sensitive and loving, okay? And be like, oh, well, thank you for trying, blah, blah, blah. Or they can remain an asshole and not say anything. Either way, however they behave, I've already decided how I'm going to behave. I'm just going to be assertive and do my job. That's what I do. But I'm not going to allow a person to talk to me any kind of way. So that's why I repeated back to them what they said, but I repeated it back in a way where not only just they know, but everybody else knows. Because you have to treat people a certain way. You have to treat people with the respect that you expect and give consideration that you would expect. And when you don't do that, then that's when I have to be assertive and speak up. And it was cold in here too, And so I was like, I mean, it was cold. I went to sleep with my hat and gloves on. Okay. And I asked the person, I said, do you have a heater? And they was like, no. I said, okay, I'll go buy one. At the time, I hadn't thought about extra blankets, until after I went to Walmart and bought some doggone cover to cover me up. But then I realized, I said, oh, well, when I told the person I'm cold and I'm sleeping in my hat and my gloves, if the person was thoughtful and considerate about me, they would have said, oh, I got some blankets in the closet. Or I got some blankets over in this room. Get those. So because of the pattern of behavior that I observed, I know that this is not, you know, a person expressing love, and especially at Christmas time, because they're totally into their situation, not giving any consideration to what I experienced and the fact that we both miscommunicating on the time zones. So what do I do? Well, I'm continuing to be me. I'm not going to allow anyone to take me out of my element. I'm going to continue to love. I'm going to continue to take care of the animals. I'm going to continue to just do what I do and be me and continue to give and show love to everyone and the world and speak up, be assertive with those who disrespect me or do not take my issues into consideration. You see what I'm saying? Nobody paying nobody to do nothing. And things happen in life, and there is no perfection anywhere. So, when you want to get along, people need to be respectful to each other, be kind and considerate, especially at Christmas time, since this is supposed to be all about love and kindness and caring. Okay? So, anyway, just wanted to share that with y'all. And also, I just decided I'm not going to let anybody, cause me to be any different than who I am, who God made me to be. They could act whatever kind of ass they want to act, but I'm going to definitely be assertive and speak up and let you know what you can and you can't do towards me, with me, and to me in a respectful way. Okay? So I love y'all. God bless y'all. Enjoy your day. Stay happy.